Hello, friends. Welcome to Authenticity. Today, in this video, we are going to look into the concept of language game of Ludwig Wittgenstein. Wittgenstein, a 20th century Austrian-British philosopher, introduced the concept of language game as a central element of his later philosophy, particularly in his work Philosophical Investigations. Language games are a key part of his approach to the philosophy of language and meaning. Before going on the concept of language game, we need to look into the preface of Philosophical Investigation, how we should approach the text. There are some key points in the preface that I came across which I think worthy of attention, and it's also obvious many of you had came across to them. Let us see what are these points. Wittgenstein tried to systematically investigate into the concept of meaning of understanding of proposition of logic, state of consciousness and other things. But he failed. So he went with the natural inclinations to travel over a wide field of thought, crisscross in every direction. And this thing is evident by the way text has written. The other point is that the key to understand philosophical investigation is to contrast it with the Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus, which Wittgenstein himself suggested. Now at this point, I want to ask a question here. Why one should read Wittgenstein? Before going into the thought of Wittgenstein, we should pause and look. Wittgenstein gave up his earlier thoughts and came up with philosophical investigation. Giving up own views and opinions is not into the ability of ordinary human being. There are numerous thinkers who didn't give up their views, opinion, despite they have came across plenty of contradictory views, opinion and experience. Here I want to tell you that Buddhism talk about 4 kinds of attachment. Means around these 4 attachments one's life revolves. What are these 4 attachments? Attachment to the sense objects, attachment to the opinions and views, attachment of rites and rituals, and 4th, attachment to selfhood. People are attached to their views and opinions to the extent they can take others' life who have different opinion and view. Thus, giving up this attachment is not the easy task. That's why I think Wittgenstein is a wonderful philosopher to read. Now let us look into the key points of the concept of language game. In Wittgenstein's view, language not a fixed and static set of symbols and inherent meaning. Instead, he argued that language is a dynamic, rule-governed activity or practice. Language is a game we play, and the meaning of words and phrases is determined by their use in various language games or contexts. Multiple language games. Wittgenstein emphasized that there are many different language games, each with its own rules and purposes. For example, the language game of chess has its own rules for how chess pieces move and interact, just as the language game of ordering food at a restaurant has its own rules and conventions. Use determines meaning. Wittgenstein argued that meaning is not found in some abstract fixed definition but is derived from how words are used in specific language games. The meaning of a word is its use in language game. Context matters. The meaning of a word can vary depending on the context or language game in which it is used. For instance, the word bat has different meaning in the language games of baseball, cricket and zoology. Family resemblance. Wittgenstein introduced the idea of family resemblance to describe how language games are related. Language games within a category share some similarities, but there is no single defining feature that encompasses all of them. The concept of family resemblance highlights the diversity of language games. Private language argument. Wittgenstein also used the notion of language game to challenge the idea of private language. He argued that meaningful language depends on shared rules and public criteria, making the idea of a language known only to oneself is problematic. Rule following. Wittgenstein explored the nature of rule in language games. He emphasized that rules are not rigid formulas but are more like custom or practice within a linguistic community. Understanding and following rules involve a kind of social agreement. So, these are some key points of the concept of language game. Wittgenstein's concept of language game had a profound impact on the philosophy of language, communication, and the study of meaning. It challenges the traditional philosophical approach that seeks to establish fixed universal meaning for words and phrases. Instead, Wittgenstein's philosophy encourages a more contextual and pragmatic understanding of language. Thank you.